In this video, you'll see all of the meals that we ate during the first week of the Pantry Challenge. So from Sunday, January 1st through Saturday, January 6th. We ate a lot of the same thing. We had some failures and a success or two, and learned a lot. So let's get started and show you what we ate this first week. And getting ready for our first meal of 2023. We have some leftover baked potatoes from Christmas Eve dinner, and I made some sausage and eggs this morning for breakfast. And so I just made some extra, and we're gonna try an egg casserole, a leftover egg casserole. So first I'm gonna chop up these two baked potatoes. They are fairly small, so it's not gonna be a ton of potatoes. We'll just kind of see what we're gonna add to this. I'm taking inspiration. I've been watching a lot of Jessica from Three Rivers Homestead, a lot of her videos on her previous pantry challenges, and it's been very inspiring. And so that's actually where I got this idea. And I figured these are the last leftovers from Christmas Eve. And so what better way to use them up? I do have some frozen hash browns in the freezer, just store-bought bagged hash browns that I bought thinking maybe we would use them while my family was here over Christmas, and then we didn't. So maybe if we need extra potatoes, if we need extra potatoes, I will break into that bag. Just kind of spreading them out on the bottom of the pan. And then here, this morning, there's I used the cast iron pan for the first time, and the sausage got almost burned, and the eggs, which I made directly after almost burning the sausage, were full of sausage bits, so they're very brown. They just look kind of funny. So I'm just I just put them in the same bowl, put them in the fridge. Well, the leftovers, we did have, Junior and I had some of them for breakfast. So we're gonna just sprinkle these in here. Stick it at the bottom of the bowl. It didn't drain as much of the grease as I thought I did. I might have to grab a spoon. A little fat will just make it taste better, right? Mix these up. I think this is going to be fine. I don't think we need to add any those hash browns. We'll save them for another day. And then I'm going to add a bunch more eggs. We should probably scramble these up at least a little bit before I put them in there. So put them in this bowl first. One less dish. I also watch a lot of Acre Homestead with Becky, and I love her policy of reusing dishes if they're just gonna have similar stuff in them anyway, because then you don't have to wash them over and over again. I think we're just gonna put all of these eggs in here. Even though there's some scrambled eggs in there already. Because it is, after all, an egg casserole, right? And as I said when I explained the rules that we're going to be following, I am allowing myself to purchase eggs whenever we run out, because I just didn't feel like that was something that I could stock up on. And we don't have chickens. Technically we're not allowed to have chickens, although I am working on finding out how to get a permit for that. I know, scrambling eggs is a lot easier with a fork than with a spoon, but I already have a spoon dirty. Over. I should have stopped here. I think I'm actually going to take some inspiration from Becky from Acre Homestead and her baked oatmeals, because I made one of those last week and Jose really liked it. And I have a bunch of heavy whipping cream left over, so let me grab the oatmeal and the baked oatmeals are usually sweet, so we're gonna see what a savory baked oatmeal tastes like. One and a half-ish cups of oats. That way. Get out that heavy whipping cream. And if I look at this tomorrow and it's just way, I think it's just way too watery, we'll add some more oats. Because this way, at least some of the oats will soak overnight. Which is supposed to help you digest them more easily. Looks like it's going to be fine. We're just going to get this all mixed together a little bit, and then I'm going to put some saran wrap over it, and stick it in the fridge. But this has breakfast sausage. Oh no. This is not cooked. Yeah, we're not going to eat this. I'm going to put it back in the oven because I don't think it's cooked all the way through. The top was kind of golden brown, but as soon as and the edges are definitely cooked. But as soon as I get into it, I can just mix it up. So this is a fail for now. We're gonna see if we can save it. And if not, maybe I'll have to build my compost bins today instead of later. Anyway, I'm gonna mix this up a little bit and then stick it back in the oven. See if we can eat it a little bit later. So this is real life, folks. We'll probably have cereal for breakfast. We did indeed have cereal for breakfast. I also scrambled up some egg whites that we have been trying to use up. This casserole's finally looking done. I'm not sure what caused the bubbles around the edge, so please let me know what you think in the comments. We did end up having this for lunch, and it was a little weird, but my husband said it was fine with a tomato paste drizzle as garnish, aka ketchup makes almost anything edible. For dinner, we had boxed macaroni and cheese, green beans, and applesauce. Sometimes you just need an easy win. I work on Mondays, so I didn't film breakfast or lunch. We were going to have beef stroganoff for dinner that night, but I got distracted and burnt the onions. So instead, I took an easy win and we had tacos, which is one of our favorite meals. I decided to try making another savory breakfast casserole. This time I used a layer of frozen hash browns that we had left over in the fridge, and then I added a layer of a chorizo and egg mixture that I cooked up beforehand. Chorizo is just a specific spice blend. You can have pork chorizo, I think this is beef chorizo. And I just cooked it with the eggs. I'm trying to spread it out pretty evenly here. And then on top I added another layer of frozen hash browns. I missed filming it, but I also sprayed some avocado oil on top to try to help it crisp up in the oven. What happened to Tuesday, you ask? I don't know. Apparently I didn't film anything, and I can't remember what we ate for dinner. So, sorry about that. For breakfast on Wednesday, we had pancakes. It's a recipe that I made up one day when I didn't have enough milk for the recipe I was trying to follow, and they are so fluffy. I'll put the recipe box in the description if you want to try them. Doesn't it look perfect? We ate these with peanut butter and syrup. For lunch this day, we had peanut butter sandwiches, carrots, a cup of mushrooms, and part of a pickle. A bit odd, but it worked for us. For dinner on Wednesday, we had split pea soup. I had canned a batch a few days before and had part of a pint left over, as well as 1 pint jar that didn't seal. My husband's comment was, "It tastes like pea soup," to which I replied, "It is pea soup." He said, "Oh, I guess that makes sense." If you see me struggling a little bit to eat this, see our video on Saturday where I talk about why food is sometimes hard for me. On Thursday, we had leftover pancakes with peanut butter and syrup for breakfast. And I forgot to sit down and eat lunch that day, but for dinner we had some cup of noodle soup with homemade broth that was heating on the stove, and a little bit of the ground beef that I cooked up for the next day's dinner, and that's the tallow that I saved to use later. I almost forgot to film Friday's breakfast before we finished eating, but that day we had more pancakes and more of the egg whites we're trying to use up. For lunch we had quesadillas and beans, which is my go-to easy meal. And And then for Friday's dinner, I really wanted to have beef stroganoff for dinner this week, so I decided to try again. I already have the mushrooms and garlic chopped from last time, but I need some new onions. I feel like I have watched so many videos on how to cut onions, and I still can't figure it out. For caramelizing onions, which I need to do for this recipe, I really want thin, even slices, but I never know how to cut the last part of the onion. I tried a couple of different methods here, but neither worked great. If you have any suggestions for me, please leave them in the comments. As you can see here, I didn't burn the onions. They're not super brown, but they're definitely browner than they look on camera. Now I'm just adding in the mushrooms, and I'll cook these down for a little while before adding the garlic, flour, and broth to form our sauce. I started to get a little bit worried at this point while I was cooking the flour, but then I added the first bit of broth and mixed it up. And it smoothed out really nicely and made a nice thick base for our sauce. Then after this, I added the cooked ground beef from yesterday and the rest of the broth. I also added some milk to the sauce, but I think it was too hot when I added it and it curdled a little bit. And also the sour cream that I used had been frozen and then thawed, and I think that's what the little white flecks are. But it tasted fine, and that's what we had for dinner. For breakfast on Saturday, we once again had pancakes with peanut butter and syrup, as well as some egg whites. On Saturday we had quesadillas and beans for lunch, and for dinner my dad was visiting us that weekend, and he wanted to take us out for dinner. So we did go out for dinner, but he paid, so I'm counting it as fine in the pantry challenge because we didn't spend any money on food. Thanks for following along with those meals. Like I said, we ate a lot of the same things. I definitely failed a few times, but it's all about trying again. Next week we are going to do things a little bit differently. I found that it just doesn't work for our family to film every single meal. So I'll be filming dinners, and I'll be filming if I do something new and different for breakfast or lunch. And I will try to fill you in if we eat something that pulls from our pantry especially, or if we run out of something and I'm like scrambling to come up with a meal. But for the most part, we're just going to be filming dinners, and I am going to be trying to make a new dinner every night. I'm hoping that I'll be able to get the amount of food right so that it's just enough for dinner and then leftovers for lunch the next day. If we do have a lot of leftovers, I won't make dinner. We'll just eat leftovers because I don't want to waste food. But we're going to try that this week. If you enjoyed this video, please give us a like. If you have a recipe you'd like us to try, please leave it in the comments below. I do want to choose one recipe from our comments every week for us to try. If you are enjoying following along with this pantry challenge and with our journey, please subscribe and follow along with us. I will put our playlist here with all of our pantry challenge videos, and I'll put a video here specifically about what is in our downstairs pantry food storeroom. And thank you for being here with us on the Palma Pioneer Pantry.